So yesterday I hosted a 1 hour long cold email copywriting masterclass with Nikita, the CEO at Maildoso. And in this masterclass, I showed everything. It was super value packed. It went on for about 1 hour. I walk you through 4 of my all-time best performing cold email copies, and some of them will probably surprise you. I answered a series of questions, rewrote a bunch of copies, and it was just insane value for 1 hour straight. So I thought I'm going to just post this entire meeting recording on YouTube. So enjoy and stay tuned. Cheers. So yes, I can take over here and share some resources that I've brought with me today. Now, I've done a lot of cold email copywriting videos on YouTube and LinkedIn. You can search for it, you'll find it. So I want to do something like slightly different, I guess, or basically just cut to the chase and show you some examples of really like high performing cold email copies that I ran. And it's going to be different industries and different approaches. And I'll just walk you through them and explain sort of the commonalities between them, because all of them follow sort of the same principles that I'm following every time I write a cold email. And that should leave us more time to answer, questions, rewrite your copies, and essentially give you more value. So just going to share my screen and let me see here. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so I haven't prepared a sweet looking presentation. So I'm just focusing on like raw value here and not fancy colors and all of that. No offense to the team at Maildoso for your beautiful presentation. But first of all, quick introduction. Nikita's already introduced me. Oskar, I've been posting about cold email for about 2 years now. I've been running a cold email agency, which I'm slowly sort of shutting down as I'm focusing more and more on my SaaS company, Vina AI. And I'm soon launching another SaaS, which I can't tell you a lot of information about, but it's coming soon. And I'm super excited to tell you everything about it when we finally release. But let's cut to the chase. Nikita has already introduced me, and I can't really do it better myself. So I have a series of copies here with results that I've gotten with the copies and sort of the approach. And it's different industries, different offers, different approaches, different like lead sourcing methods. You get the idea. So I'm just going to walk you through them one by one. Now, the first one is a copy that I ran for me, a cold email I ran for me, and it's 2 of them. One of them got me 73 SaaS demo meetings in 20 days, and this is one that I ran last month in February. And the second one got me 20 new paying SaaS customers in 30 days. Not nearly the same amount of booked meetings, but it got me paying customers. So I picked that metric because that sounds cooler. All right. So here's essentially the first copy that we ran. And this is a longer form copy. And what we did here is essentially just scrape people who have liked posts related to cold email. So I looked at Nils, the CEO of Instantly. I took Nikita, Maildoso, probably a bunch of you guys if you post on LinkedIn. I took all of your posts. I put them in Phantom Buster. I scraped everyone who liked the post. And since Smart Lead and Instantly are the big players in the cold email space, and especially on LinkedIn, I essentially just assumed that most of the people I'm emailing, if they send cold emails, they're going to use Instantly or Smart Lead. And the reason I don't just say here in the beginning that we're building for cold emailers is because it isn't specific enough. You need to have something that catches people's attention. And I can't tell you how many responses I've gotten to this saying, how the fuck did you know I used instantly? How did you know I was a smart lead user? Where did you get my, they're sort of impressed by it, right? But that's essentially what I did here. And I don't mention anywhere, you know, I noticed you like this post on LinkedIn, which a lot of people do. You want to be vague, sort of spike curiosity, right? And that's the first thing that my rule when writing cold emails. And you will see that this is sort of universal across all my copies. And then simply when you read the copy here, and if you don't know what my SaaS does, it lets you create personalized videos at scale. Think SendSpark, but better. And here we have essentially in the cold email, I never once mention here personalized video outreach at scale. I never focus on features. I only focus on benefits, the outcome, what this will do for them. And then I leave the features for the video. So I treat my cold email copies as sort of the headline of a newspaper magazine. It's just to give them enough information to elicit sort of the response of clicking, right? I want them to just click or take action, right? So then I leave all of the information, sort of the pitch and everything for the video. And the other method, which you see here, where we don't include a video, right? I follow the same approach. It's nearly an identical copy to this one, right? Only that this one is much shorter. And the reason for that is just deliverability, right? You want to even out the body or the text to image ratio when adding images, right? So this one is much shorter, but again, interested in hearing your thoughts on a tool we're creating for Smartly and Instantly customers. People who use our tool average a 5.7% positive reply rate and double meetings in 26 days. And then can I send over more information, right? And that's it. And now in this case, no features mentioned. All I want is for people to respond positively. And you can see here, we contacted 1,346 leads. 143 of them responded positively. Which is an insanely high positive reply rate. And the reply rate is even higher, right? And then obviously move them to a subsequent, send over the video where I expose the
Oskar,
features. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for this advice. Is super helpful. I seen these mistakes over and over again. People, they pitch their features, they pitch their pricing. They trying to sell the product right in the cold email, but when in reality they just need to sell the next step, which is brilliant. We also have comments in the chat, people asking if we can let's move the screen so that they could read what's written.
Just be still. Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
that people can, read.
I'm not sure why I can't pull up the chat now. Hold on. Give me a second here.
And no worries. I'm gonna tell you if
yeah. It should be happens. Okay, now here we go. Now I have the chat open here. Perfect. All right. Sorry for giving you.
And can I ask you a question about the first approach? Looks very cool. And like in this video, in the first example, what do you pitch there?
So what I pitched there is I adapted to sort of the pitch right here. So in the video here, I just walk them through the metrics that you get when sending personalized videos. So I have one of these like animations sort of when I have the presentation, right? I start by scrolling on their website just to get their attention, moves over to a presentation, and then I walk them through sort of just focusing on metrics. So I'm going to show you how to book 100 meetings in the next 30 days using a fully automated cold email system. Now, with this cold email system, if you contact 10,000 leads, you will get a 16% click-through rate, meaning 16% of leads you contact will click on your sort of lead magnet, right? Out of those, 90% will play the video, watch the videos you created for them. And out of those, this many will book a meeting. So if you send 10,000 emails using this strategy, you will book 100 meetings. And that's basically what I do in the video.
I have a question. Have you tried to use, like in these videos, call to action, something like, go on the website, sign up there, and instead of pitching meetings, pitch like sign up on the website?
Yeah, we tried that for Vinna actually. It doesn't work for Vinna because you need to be somewhat emotional invested to go through like the process of generating videos. You need to record the video, you need to design a landing page, upload leads, and generate the videos, and then you need to figure out sort of how to do all of that. And it just doesn't work for it didn't work for Vinna. Like we got free trial users, but it didn't convert into paying.
Okay, that's cool. We have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Does embedding a video in a cold email reduces deliverability? What's your answer to that?
Yeah, if you're sending the same volume as you do without video, yes, it does. And it does sort of increase the burn rate on domains. There's no like way of stopping it, but it's worth the drop off in deliverability because the conversion rate is so much higher. So we have pretty like, obviously, sort of Vinna, we're building it for cold email. So we have features like custom domain rotation that you can use. If you set up inboxes and domains using Maildozo, then you can connect all of those domains that you have connected your email accounts to Vinna AI. And create subdomains for those domains. So say you buy 10 domains from Maildozo, right? You add all of them as subdomains to Vinna AI. And then when you send out the videos, you link back only to a subdomain of the domain you're sending from, which means you don't add any essentially external links. So that's essentially how I do it, and a bunch more. And I can link resources. You can look at my YouTube channel, just search up my name, and I have literally a video called how to send videos in the first email without landing in spam.
Cool, thank you. And also people asking, how can, like, if somebody wants to embed the video the same way as you did in the first example, how they can do it the same?
Yeah. So obviously I use it's what my SaaS does, right? So it's called Vinna AI, and I'll show you simply how to embed this. And not sure where it's not. Wakey. All right, here we go. So essentially what I have here is a campaign. I don't want to go through like detail, like how to set up everything, because obviously we want more essentially, or want to cover everything here. But here you can see like a campaign I've generated. It's personalized videos for all of them with like these landing pages that I've attached the videos to, right? And say I want to add this to an email campaign. Well, then I think simply click generate snippet, and then I take like whatever custom domain I want to use. And then I can maybe do this and above, and video for first name, right? And then we can decide we only want preview image, like a static image, to boost deliverability. And then we copy this, and then we go over to instantly, and we can just write something here in the body, hover it, paste this code snippet in here. And now obviously it uses the email variable here. So it will change the link like automatically. So obviously now I don't have any leads uploaded to this campaign, but if I just take any like email that I have in here, So if I were to send an email to this person right here, then obviously this would be the video. So that's basically how simple it is.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, so I am a agency owner, or I ran a agency, and I'm still doing, but I don't take on a lot of clients. But recently I've shifted over and I'm aiming towards full time on the SaaS essentially. How I counter domain burn. Well, first of all, don't get spam complaints. That's one. So send like great cold emails. Secondly, like pause campaigns once in a while, rotate between different domains. There's no like really good, there's no way to 100% sort of counter it.
Yeah, it's their job to get burned. So like that's why you don't send cold emails from your main domain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people click on spam button and then at some point ESPs decide to start blocking all emails coming from this domain. But the good news is that it's temporary, so you can just, wait for a couple of weeks and they will recover. So
Yeah. God damn, there's a lot of questions. What about LinkedIn and how to use it in a multi-channel sequence alongside cold calling? So for example, like with cold calling, what I recommend is setting a trigger, right? When someone watches a video, move that into your CRM dialing list and call them. With LinkedIn, all you do is like, if I take this video here and I can go to my founder here, right? And if I just paste this in here, right? Then obviously we'll show this thumbnail. So you just put the link. That's it. How to use Rebrandly with Vina AI. What is Rebrandly?
it's kind of like a URL shortener, I guess.
So I can repeat? Well, I'll just search
It's
it up.
it's like Bitly or any other URL shortener. Yeah.
We don't use it. I don't even think it's possible to use with Vina. Now, what you can do with Vina is obviously customize the short code as well to make the links like shorter, essentially.
Let's go back to
Yeah.
the content and then we'll answer
Yes.
the
Yes.
other
Yeah.
questions.
That sounds
Yeah.
great. I'll move through this a bit faster, right? And I try to be still here. Now, next campaign is for a email marketing agency specializing in active campaign users, so inbound email marketing agency, right? Coaches, consultants who are active campaign users, and CEO, founder, and owners. And these two cold emails generated $60,000 in 1 month for a client called Sales Studios. Actually had a similar call with him last week. And here it is essentially. It's just good morning or good afternoon, first name. I heard about company name from my friends at Active Campaign, so I had to check you out. Hehe. And the reason simply we use this like from my friends at Active Campaign, hehe, is just to sort of interrupt patterns. That's what it's all about. If you have a great offer, then your only job is to break patterns and force your prospects to sort of think when they open your email, so they get their lay their eyes on your offer essentially, right? And then it's just we have many ideas on how we can improve your Active Campaign setup. This will lead to increased revenue and better margins. That's it. Like very simple, right? And this campaign, this exact copyright here actually helped us close Capital Club, which is a company. The founders are essentially Steven Tan, not sure, and Luke Belmar, those guys, with like millions of followers online. So they receive a lot of cold emails. Somehow this got them to book a meeting and sign up.
Very cool
Then
tactic. If you allow me, I would copy this, like the
yeah,
intro line. Like, I've heard about your company from my friend from, I don't know,
yeah,
whatever. That's so cool.
go for it. Free to use it. And one thing that also like helped here is that he is a certified active campaign consultant, so that sort of helped as well. Um, Then here is like another campaign. This probably wouldn't work in today's market. But again, just like hope you're having a great Tuesday so far. This breaks a lot of principles that I'm following nowadays, except for the ones that I never once mention sort of features in here. I only mention features in the video, right? That one remains the same here. So it's just about social proof, outcomes, benefits, results, risk reversals. Watch the video to learn more, right? Next one, which is a website development and design agency. And this is a very unique approach we used here, right? So they target SaaS companies with 10 to 100 employees, CEO, founder, and owners in Europe, right? And this generated $80,000 in revenue for Jafar, and he's actually the guy who built the Vina website. So we actually have ourselves here as a case study. um, so what we do here, instead of just going straight for the pitch and saying like, well, we can build you a new, better looking website and blah, blah, blah. We sort of changed the perspective of it, the angle of it, and wrote it sort of from their potential customer's perspective. So, for example, this would look like this if I emailed Nikita. Nikita, why should I go with Mailduso instead of Hypertide or premium inboxes? That's the first question your potential customers ask themselves before using your SaaS. If you're open to it, I'd like to share a few ideas on how you can make your SaaS the clear choice. Can I share my ideas here, or would you prefer to have a phone call? P.S. Vina AI tripled MRR using this approach. So then we use sort of a competitor angle here, right?
Phone call,
And
please.
sorry.
I said phone call, please.
Yeah, yeah. No one answers phone call here, by the way. But we just have it there to sort of, then it's like they have to pick. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to make this about like psychology or anything. I don't know anything sort of about, but it just worked, right? So then we have that. And it's just like about finding different angles, right? So not sounding like everyone else, essentially. And it helps as well, like the more you know about your customer persona, the easier it is to write cold emails. So I run a SaaS, I receive web design and web development cold emails all the time. So I knew sort of what not to do, right? Like writing cold emails is more about avoiding mistakes than sort of doing the right thing, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, and the results that you've generated for web design agencies, like, incredible. It's insanely competitive niche, and then
Yeah.
if you can stand out with cold email, yeah.
So I
Emails
know
are
actually
so
we
good.
ran this campaign pretty recently. This one right here, the campaigns regarding like click rate, etc. For this campaign, to give an idea, we contacted 1,000 leads, and out of those, 15 responded positively, which is much lower than what we typically get. But out of those, like a lot of them converted into booked meetings and ultimately closed. For this, we used Clay, yes. So we used Clay to get competitor 1 and competitor 2. And obviously Smart Lead for sending here.
And do you use like a prompt, some kind of prompt to figure out who's the main competitor or something?
Yes, I can actually, if we can like, this is probably incentive to join Mailduso's Slack community, but I can put all the resources in there and Nikita can maybe pin them after a meeting, so I can put like all the copies and even the
That would be
videos
amazing.
we've been using and all of that. Right, and the final one brought with me today is for a marketing agency for physical rehabilitation clinics, and this target audience clinic, 1 to 100 employees. The reason we took it this broad is because typically, like local businesses, the employee information is not accurate at all. Sometimes we booked meetings with a alleged one employee clinic, right? And they had like 70 employees. So we took it very broad there. And this copy here helped Spark Labs Health, a marketing agency, sign 20 clinics and around 40 locations for marketing services. From what I know, right, it's probably like more now, and typically you start with one location and then expand and blah blah. Anyways, they had, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Could you please stop for a moment so that audience can read what's written? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And the sort of edge we had here, and yeah, probably everyone is going to run with this script now, but you don't have the same edge that the Spark Labs Health had, which is a insane case study, and that's basically what we leveraged here, right? So what we did is just like, hey, first name, your clinic in city offers the same rehabilitation services as Synergy Rehab. So I thought this might be relevant. Over the last 4 years, we've helped Synergy Rehab grow from a local clinic to a well-known physio brand with over 17 locations, serving over 200,000 patients annually. Now, sorry. I need to stop moving around. Sorry. It's just okay. And then it's just, I recorded a custom case study on how we tackled challenges like therapist shortfall, patient loyalty, and patient acquisition. And then it's basically a case study video, right? And again, personalized. If it sounds relevant, I could provide you with more details about our process. You can decide if it aligns with your vision for our Boreta, right? Are you open to the idea of having a shorter phone call sometime next week so we can discuss? And again, here, like the first sentence, I want to put a lot of focus on that, because I try to steer away from starting my cold emails with "I read on LinkedIn," or "I noticed," "I saw," "I found," or "I" in general, right? I try to start with "your," or like avoid those buzzwords, right? So your clinic in New York, we start with you, right? And instantly sort of like breaks the pattern. So just think, if I reverse this sentence: thought this might be relevant since your clinic in New York offers the same rehabilitation services as Synergy Rehab. To me, that just, it sounds so like it's the same pattern as every other cold email. All right. And those were the emails. Now we can sort of move on to the questions. I guess I'll let you take over here,
Yeah.
Nikita.
Yeah, sure. And we have a few questions in the chat that I think might be worth it to kind of discuss here. And do you usually send Vine videos in the initial email?
Until like 2 months ago, no, because I found soft call to action worked really well. But I noticed like everyone started using soft call to action and that sort of approach with subsequences, and it sort of stopped. There was a discrepancy between positive replies and booked meetings. So ultimately, nowadays, I send the videos in the first email, basically all the time. But it's depends on my addressable market. If I have a TAM that's 200,000 people, then I can afford to sort of drop conversions more and opt for more volume, right? And then I include the videos in the follow-up emails. and vice versa. If it's small, right, then.
And how do you customize names inside the photo or video?
Yeah, so that's a feature we have in Vena. So when you create a campaign, if we go to, and now this is obviously the overview here, but if you will be able to customize this text right here when you create the campaigns. So you can type like video for first name or whatever you want. And you can sort of, probably we have different, yeah, so here you can see like case study for Dale, right? So there, you can customize it there. Oh, do you not see my screen?
Yeah, Mark, if you in Zoom, just you can switch between the decks top, you see. Yeah. Just because we're sharing two screens, yeah.
Oh, here's Elliot, by the way. Nice timing.
Hey.
So, okay, a lot of questions now. How many follow-ups do I send? When I send the video in the first email, I tend to not send any follow-ups at all. What I do, except if they click the video. So what I do is I have like a Zapier/Make workflow that triggers when someone clicks the video, and then it moves them to a subsequence. So I only sort of follow up with people who have interacted with the first email. So then they receive an email like, hey, I noticed you watched 50% of the video, but you didn't book an appointment. What's wrong with you? Yeah, that's basically what I do. You have 1 million leads. Which strategy do you recommend? Then I wouldn't recommend sending videos, actually. I would just buy a lot of mailboxes from Maildoso and blast out emails. If you send out, 100,000 emails a month, then you won't fail.
Yeah, with such a big total addressable market, it's just.
Yeah, and here's a returning question I got before. How is Vina AI's deliverability compared with Loom? So since you can add custom domains to Vina, it's more about the reputation of your domain. So that's really what matters here. Loom's domain has insane reputation, and they are sort of partnered with Google and Outlook. I think Outlook, I'm not sure. Google nonetheless, right? So they have insane reputation, meaning that it isn't as harmful adding those links in emails. But if you have an 1-year-old or 8-year-old domain and connect it to Vina, then deliverability is good. Yeah. Trying to learn if I work with ERP company which has very difficult time targeting copies at the right time. We're trying to learn if it's copy issue or burnt email issue. Any pointers on our copy? I'm Gabe from my company, an inventory growing brands. If you're moving away from spreadsheets and have interest in software that makes things 10 times easier, love to send over a case study. So what I would do here is cut the first line, completely unnecessary, waste of oxygen. I would go in and ask instead like, hey, first name, interested in hearing your thoughts on a spreadsheet alternative we've developed that makes things 10 times easier. I don't really understand sort of but I would use that angle and ask like feedback, right? Pretend that you're doing market research, essentially. That's the angle that I used for Vina when we first launched, and it worked really well. And then either include the video directly, send lower volume, or ask a meeting, or ask a question, right? Can I send it over, or can I send over an example? What's the limit before killing a domain, sending a video? Depends on so many factors. How old is the domain, right? What's your sending volume? Do you get a lot of spam complaints, right? That's the worst, like the bounce rate, right? But we've seen, like, we try to send with one domain, right? Or with a batch of domains for 1 month, then we rest them and we have another batch and we send from them. So we swap.
And this is a killing strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. How many emails do you send from one email with Vinna video in the first email? Max, I contact max 5 new leads a day per inbox. And that's max. I would recommend starting, with 3 and then build your way up. When you add custom domains with Vinna, do you also have to separate campaigns for each custom domain so that you avoid external link warning? No, so you don't need to separate them. In Vinna, like, you generate the videos, and after you've generated the videos, you will be able to sort of pick the custom domain, right? And then what you do in Instantly, since they don't have a sending account domain variable, is that you add this code snippet to the signature of the account. So where you want to place the video, then in Instantly, you type account signature, and then it will always be sort of the subdomain of that sending domain. You can't currently do AI personalization with Vinna. We're launching it soon, and it's gonna be insane. Better than anything that you've seen, but not yet, no. Right, so should
Men
I...
när är det planerat då?
Yeah. So, should I... does everyone want me to continue, like, answering questions here, or
It's up to you, or we can go to the questions that we have on the deck.
yeah, I just
just
want to
if you
give
find
people
something-
what they want, essentially, as much value as possible. So depends on which one gives the most amount of value. On Vinna landing pages, can you add unlimited variables? Yes, you can. So you can literally, like, generate a Harry Potter book personalized to a prospect and add that. Yeah, unlimited variables. And it doesn't cost, like, credits or any of that crap. Is the copy in the last example with the clinics written specifically for that one recipient, or is it the work of Clay or something like that? No Clay used there at all. All we use here, in the end, so Synergy Rehab, that's our client, right? Or not my client, but our client's client. And New York, right? That's just the location that we pulled off from Apollo. Probably inaccurate most of the time, but it worked. So no Clay used here at all, actually.
Okay, cool. Then let's start with these questions here. How many text variations, like how many A/B tests you run in your campaigns when you launch something?
I'll just stop sharing my screen here for a sec so I can... all right. And are you presenting?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Do you see the screen?
No, I can't. How do I do this?
It's on top. It shows like this.
Oh yeah, here.
So
Perfect.
change
Yeah.
screen. Yeah.
Here we go. So how many text variations do you launch in one campaign? As many as it takes. Like, there is no real, there is no, like, exact, but what I tend to do is have, so say I launch a traditional, like, cold outbound with, like, cold leads, right? Then I typically create one case study / social proof oriented copy, meaning I just go straight for, I lead with case studies, right? So take this local clinic copy, right? I lead with social proof. Then I have one which is offer oriented, which is like, we can get you this in this many days, or you don't pay, right? And then I have one variant which combines both of them. That's traditionally like the 3 variants I start with to find out what works best.
And how many follow-ups do you send to in your campaigns?
That depends so much. When I send the video in the first email, only to interested leads, and I send about 2 follow-ups, right? No more than that. If I don't send the video in the first email, then I have plain text email, right? First follow-up, I have the video link, right? So here's the video I talked about in my last email, video. And then third follow-up, or second follow-up, sorry, I have just a meme. And typically, like, you might have seen the meme, like a guy talking to a brick wall, like, hey, someone leaked the video of our conversation, check it out. And then there's a man talking to like a brick wall. That's was my go-to meme, but then everyone started using it. But
That's cool.
yeah.
And what's your thoughts on like sending 10, 15 follow-ups after initial cold email?
Unnecessary. It's obvious that, like, if they don't answer in like the first 3 emails you send, it's something wrong with your angle, right? You will just piss people off. They're going to spam your email or mark your email as spam. So unnecessary. What I would rather recommend in that case is contact them, send 1 email and 1 follow-up, so 2 email sequence. Then, like 90 days later or 60 days later, retarget them with a completely different angle.
That's cool.
Um,
And I'm curious, like, do you like, how often do you change the copy of your cold email campaigns? Or you just set up one campaign and keep running it for 4 months?
Don't want to sound cocky, but it typically works the first time. So it's like, I change it until it works. And I don't make, like, obviously you sort of have an angle in mind when you scrape leads and everything. So I test sort of until it works. But typically, like, what I do is I just play around with the blocks, right? So I take, like, say, first email I test with this sentence at the top, right? And then the social proof sentence at the bottom. And then maybe I reverse those 2 and change there's no, like, make small iterations. But as long as it performs within KPI, I tend to sort of not do anything.
Okay. That's cool. And I'm curious, like, this is something that I kind of thinking on, like, personalization versus a very well written generic copy. Can you get like 10% reply rate or 10% interested leads with generic copy? That is just good. But apart from, first name and maybe company name, nothing else.
Yes, I mean, you can. That's what we like. No, I wouldn't. Very unlikely if you send out emails to leads that you've scraped from Apollo. But like with us, when we, for example, scraped leads or people who liked posts related to cold email, and we got like a 20% reply rate. The only personalized variable we had was first name. But I would say it's very difficult to pull off if you're just blasting out emails to people on a database.
Okay. Okay. And we have, let me check questions in the chat.
So if I use spin
Okay.
tags, yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I
about
wanted to ask the same
give,
question.
yeah, I was about to give Stephen blue balls there, cut off the question and move on. Now, if I do spin tags or do you personalize the copy in Clay, I do both. So typically, like when I personalize the copy in Clay, I don't personalize sentences, I personalize words. So for example, the name of one like competitor, that's what I pull, or the name of a past client. I don't generate sentences, only like variables essentially. And then I spin tags the copy like normally.
And then we
Which,
have one more.
yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
the KPI one.
No, like a question from Mark about batch swap strategy.
All right.
Like,
It depends on how many emails like you want to send. So think of like 5, oh goddamn, 200,000 per month. I can't do this math this quick. I can get back to you on this. I need to hire Einstein and then get back to you.
I can answer. I can answer this
Yeah.
one. So essentially, like we have this question in the chat about the like domain swap type of strategy, which is essentially works this way. You take all your domains, you split them into 2 groups, and then you actively use one group, which is half of your domains, to send cold emails. And then every few weeks, like let's say 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, you just switch your like you stop using the first group and start using the second one, so that with this approach, you basically your domain's getting burned, but then you switch to a new group, which is fresh one, and you start with a it works like a fresh start. And then while your group of burnt domains are recovering, you're burning the second batch of domains, and then you switch back, and then you can actually do this indefinitely. Yeah. So how many domains per batch? It's up to you. So like just split all your domains into 2 groups.
Yeah.
Any video tutorial on that? No, we don't have, but it's really simple. Just split your mailboxes into 2 groups, use one, and then after like 2 or 3 weeks, switch to the second group of domains.
And what are the KPIs I set for myself? A 1% appointment booking rate. That's the one I have for myself, meaning basically out of every 100 leads I contact, I want 1 appointment. That's my KPI.
Very good one. And do you personally reply to cold emails? Like when somebody reach out to you?
Like we get very few replies actually when adding the videos, because obviously like the video landing page includes a embedded Calendly. It includes, multiple call to action buttons. So we find that most people like who books a meeting, they just book through the Calendly because it's more convenient, right? And don't respond. And that's like when I'm targeting, like basically everyone in here is my target audience, right? And since you all are lazy, right, you prefer the more convenient approach. Meanwhile, if you target like local businesses, then they typically respond to the email and want to book a meeting the old traditional way, through like smoke signals, right? So it's I don't receive a lot of responses, and if I do, I respond to them personally or my client.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, but like when somebody reach out to you, do you like ever respond to cold emails?
Yeah, as much as I can, except if it's really bad. It's sort of like giving your dog treats, right? So like I tend to do it because this is just like a mindset thing that works for me. If you're the type of guy that never responds to a cold email, then it becomes very hard for you to like see how people can respond to your cold emails. It's the same like if you don't leave reviews for other businesses, then when you want to ask for reviews for your business, it seems like this massive thing, right? A huge thing. And then you tend to not ask for reviews or get reviews, right? So that's basically, I try to do it as much as possible.
Very nice. Okay. And we have one more question in the chat. Do you still track open rates?
No. Well, kind of. So when you add like video links in an email, obviously like Vina tracks when that image loads, which is basically, it's the exact same thing as tracking open rates, only that the image GIF you use to track open rates with Instantly, it's not invisible, right? It's actually a image. So yeah, but I like there's no way to turn that off either. It's just
That's cool. And how many emails per email account do you send daily? One more
about
question
like
from the chat.
it's I contact about 5 a day per per email account.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, we have one more question. Are Maildoso mailboxes landing in Microsoft recipient inboxes? It is a complicated question because when you do it right, it's very easy to land everywhere. Although, like Microsoft these days require a special strategy. We will probably make a separate webinar about this on how to land on Microsoft. And as long and if you follow, essentially, if you follow our deliverability guide, you will always land in inboxes, like on Microsoft, on Google, everywhere. If that answers the question. Can we add Calendly link with Maildoso? Like in the email? Yeah, of course. You can. Yeah. Should you do revenue share, paper qualified appointment, or both? I guess this is a question from an agency owner.
Yeah. So this is what you want versus what your prospects want, right? What they want is rev share, right? But what you want is like paper qualified appointment. What I would recommend is with rev share, do rev share, but have like at least either a retainer or charge a setup fee, and don't charge a shy like $1,500 setup fee that everyone charges. Maybe like in the beginning, work for free without setup fees, right? Because you need something to stand on essentially. But what I would recommend is like do rev share, because that will give you more appointment. It sounds much better in cold emails. And then, the setup fee, just like you can pitch them a 5-6K thousand USD setup fee, and that way you sort of like, I find it easier to close deals that way because you put yourself like in a sort of premium bracket. People, if you charge more, the perceived value is higher essentially.
And then, Oskar, can you share your thoughts on the question that is on the screen right now?
There's an idea short email focusing on value and cutting out long description perform better, but they all start to look the same. And users begin to notice the pattern. What's your take on that? Yeah, like it depends. This will always be the case though. Like you just need to do what everyone else isn't doing essentially. So instead of like changing your approach, like long form or short form copy, right? Then you can just remove buzzwords, like change the word, change how you explain things. But typically, like short value, cutting out long descriptions, typically that will get you more replies. It's more interesting, easier to get a positive replies. However, it's not enough information for people to book an appointment. And that's sort of why we include videos. And that way you get the short emails focusing on value. We cut out the long descriptions, and then we leave sort of the description and all of that for sort of the video and landing page. I don't really have a good answer on this question.
Okay. And what's your take on emojis? Do you use them?
No, I don't. But it's more like if your target persona responds well to them, include them. Like it's all about like your email is just a box where you are supposed to put things that your prospects want to see, and just fill it with things that your prospects want to see, essentially. So if they respond to emojis, use it, test it, right? I personally don't use them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I also don't use emojis in cold email, but I've received quite a few. They definitely stand out in the inbox. Yeah. Okay, and we like almost run out of time, so we have probably a whole bunch of unanswered questions. So let's do this way. So after this webinar, if you still have questions to Oskar about cold email copywriting, I encourage you to ask them in Maildoso Slack community. We will get a list for Oskar and reply to them. Does that sounds good?
That sounds good. And if people want it, I have a meeting in 20 minutes that I need to attend. But if you have
sure.
questions, I can stay a bit longer to.
Okay, we have one more,
Yeah.
the last one, which is a very interesting. So I actually thought to ask this question myself, but then Blake reached out to me over sent me this one in DM. Have you experimented with using AI agents to manage entire cold email campaign, from lead generation to follow-ups?
I haven't.
Like essentially
no.
the whole thing is written by AI. I actually saw like a few examples, like when people trying to make every single cold email unique. It usually doesn't look good.
Yeah, I have the same sort of. I have the same like philosophy there. Like I'm sure, and I know, like my friend Ty Shane, he does that, and he's getting like really good results. But like he's also like he dedicates his life to AI, right? So it's you need to be like a Josh Whitfield or Ty Shane, or that I think it's pretty difficult to pull off if there's not like some very simple solution. But I like to be in control essentially, so I haven't tried it.
So
Open to
the
testing it though.
premise the premise of using AI agents to like generate to make every single email look unique is that after some time your cold email copy can get flagged, although your domain is not burned. It's fine, but like this specific copy is flagged, and then you just need to update it from time to time. And some people, they just go to the next level and like, I want to personalize and make every single email unique, which is valid approach, but not like it's absolutely not necessary. Like if your offer is good, if the way how you write emails doesn't sound too generic, it doesn't look like every other cold email that you send, you can get insane results with zero personalization, or almost zero personalization. As Oskar already mentioned, he was getting, can you remind me, the 20% reply rate, right?
Yeah, exactly. About 20% reply rate. Only variable personalized was the first name.
Yeah, which is insane. But it all comes down to like how good your copy is. We also in our Slack community, we have this roast my copy channel where you can paste one of your you can paste your copy, and we'll review it, give you feedback on how you can make it better.
Yeah.
And Oskar, let's do the last one and wrap up. Like we have a lot of cold emailers here on this webinar. If somebody asks you like about one advice that you can give to somebody who wants to improve his cold email copywriting skills, what would it be?
Practice. Stop consuming sort of copywriting content and LinkedIn content about copywriting and start writing and testing. That's the only way to like get better. It's great to get inspired by people, and I advise you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and but like it won't do much. Like you need to practice. So set like a time, 30 minutes a day, where you just write a new copy every single day and test like new approaches, set challenges for yourself. And one really good thing that you should do, which I cover in my recent video, is that write down all the buzzwords that your industry typically uses. So if you're a paid advertising agency, that would be like Facebook ads, Meta Pixel, Google Pixel, paid ads, right? Write down all of those buzzwords that they use, and you can use ChatGPT to give you a list of buzzwords, and then practice writing copies without mentioning any of them. That way you need to sort of figure out the way to explain your value proposition, like what you do, without sort of mentioning exactly what you do. And that essentially, like what that does is obviously it makes you sound completely unique. You stand out essentially. So that's like what I would recommend you practice and test. That's number one.
Yeah, this is a great advice. Okay, thank you, Oskar, for joining the webinar today. Thank you, everybody who come to listen it. It was a very very interesting conversation. Thank you, Oskar.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Pleasure is mine. And yeah, I'll put all the resources in the Slack probably by later today or early tomorrow. So join the Slack if you haven't. And thank you for having me. And thanks everyone for staying and listening.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Take care.